Good morning.
Good morning. I don't want to do that anymore. I think I'm gonna retire that now.
I think we should. I so
Oh no.
I wanted to ask you. First of all, okay,
Uh huh.
let's be a show for a second here. This is you
Let's be a
chose.
show.
This is you chose poorly. I'm Kay Sawyer, Paul. You're Mikey Lauren,
It's
and
me.
this is a podcast that we do sometimes.
Hmm.
We generally go by seasons, and the seasons are very vibes based. And I think this is a season premiere
That's right.
because we got a lot to talk about, and it's going to be like a newsy show, I think, because we got like
Yeah.
headlines to cover, and
That's right. That's
yeah,
a lot. There's a lot.
there's a lot, and I think like we don't cover the news because we record 2 to 3 times a year, um,
Yeah. And
but
there's
like
also like it's been a long enough gap that like there's also a lot for us to talk about outside the news, like
yeah,
tech wise and you chose poorly wise,
oh my,
like in our lives.
oh my,
You know.
yes, yes.
So you proposed a list.
I proposed a list like in the
Via.
middle of the night last night. I was like, is this like a thing? And you were like, that's good. So I think
That's good.
so
I have
this is,
another one I wanted to add,
yeah,
but
sure.
then there's just too much for the
There's a
first one. So
lot.
let's see what happens.
There's a lot. So,
Yeah.
I like this is a tech show, and
Mm-hmm.
the premise of the show, if no one's listened to this before, is that both of us think it's a little silly that every other person who does a tech show always thinks they're correct, and and always makes the right decision, and everything always
Mm-hmm.
works out, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's just not been our experience in real life. And I don't think
No,
that's anyone's experience in real life. I think you and I are
exactly.
far more like normal in this regard, where we go, oh, we're excited to buy this piece of electronics. Oh no, this piece of electronics like got end of life supported 6 months into its thing, and oh no, it
That's
doesn't
right.
work the way we want it to, and oh no, now I'm unhappy. Like that.
Right.
That happens a lot to
That happens a
people.
lot. Yeah, and we don't have the journalistic review budget to just buy the right thing afterwards.
No,
You know,
you're stuck with it.
there's you're stuck with it.
You're stuck with the Zune you bought. Yeah,
Yay, Zune.
yeah. The
So that's you chose poorly.
I think
That's what this show is.
if we had like a Japanese mascot character for the show, it would be Zune shaped, I think.
Right. Right. I mean, I didn't own it, but it's perfect.
Yeah,
It's perfect. It
yeah.
represents what we
It's
are.
emblematic, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So, how are you feeling right now, being like an Apple person?
Um,
Because I have to ask you this,
not great.
I buy Apple products, I own Apple products, but I've always
Yeah,
sort of had a foot in other things,
right,
you know.
right.
But
Yeah, I don't.
you are an Apple, you are an Apple boy.
I am an Apple person.
Mm,
Like, no matter what I feel about every other Apple person, uh, I guess I am one, and it doesn't feel great. It it more than anything over the past, well, however long it's been for me, let's say 20 years,
yeah.
past 20 years. Uh, I have not. This is the least nice I've felt about it.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. It's just. I mean, it's not. It's also like the thing. I say this because it's not eliciting like negative feelings. It's eliciting a lot of just cold, distant feelings. Like,
I like that.
okay, now I care
I
a
like that
lot
your
less.
Apple camera is slowly zooming in on you as you dramatically realize this.
Yeah, yeah. iPhone. That's how I feel about your company.
And what's funny is I was listening to um, was it Mike Hurley or some Fatici or one of those guys, and they were talking
Hmm.
about how like this is might have been Marco, I don't know, it talking about how like this is actually like maybe the best Apple products have ever been,
Hmm.
like across the board. Like this might be
Hmm.
the best time to buy Apple hardware ever because they're
Yeah.
all more or less fantastic gadgets. Um, but but
Yeah.
they are but they are fantastic gadgets during a bad time.
A bad, or what's about to be like the beginnings of what looks like to be a really, really bad time. You
Yes.
know, because what we have now is, CEOs turning heel.
Yes.
In
CEOs
public. Like,
CEOs turning heel in public. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
that's what we have. That's what we're saying characterizes this bad time. But what that means is that times are about to be bad, bad.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and not from the consumer end, but from the fan end. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't see myself going, oh, I'm gonna buy a Pixel now. It's just, like, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna buy. Sorry, I'm just not gonna. I very unlikely, I think. Or
I have like an evil hypothetical for you.
uh-huh.
What if the iPhone 17 comes in like iPhone 17, iPhone
Oh no,
17
I know.
Plus,
Oh
iPhone
no,
17
no.
Pro, iPhone 17 Pro Max, iPhone 17 Mega Edition?
Mm.
Like what if they sell an iPhone 17 Mega Edition? At that point, do you go maybe the Pixel's not so bad?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with all of that. Here's okay. We're talking
Uh-huh.
about Apple going a little right wing, or at least at the very least, bending the knee a little bit to the new American administration. Right? They're
Hmm.
at the very least, saying out loud, "We're happy you're here. We're happy to work with you. Here's some money." Right? Uh, they're playing corrupt politics, all that stuff, and other people are covering this better than us. But like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's not our role.
and then
Yeah.
like, there's the lawsuit that they settled about Siri accidentally recording more of your conversations, and then that data being sold to third parties, which to me undercuts maybe like the main selling point of Apple products.
Yep. Yep.
Where, right? Because like it's one thing for them to accidentally like record it and be like, oh shit, we accidentally recorded some stuff, but they like took the data and then like under a bridge handed it to other people for a briefcase of money,
Yeah. Then they get caught,
and then they get caught.
right? And then they settle and say, yeah, you know what, you're right.
Yeah, we did
That's what we
that.
did.
We did
Now
do that.
here's some money so that you stop being mad about it.
And here's my partner hearing these stories and going, I fucking told you that these dipshits are lying to you.
Yeah. It's anyway, this is not what I wanted to talk about, but it gets embarrassing a bit to be reading, say, our favorite Apple commentator, blogger man,
Yeah.
uh, still try to frame Apple as the least heelish
Well, and they still
of
might
all
be.
of them.
They still might be is
It,
the thing, because you could say,
sure.
oh, what's the worst thing that could happen here is like there's an iPhone 17 MAGA edition, but Google gave money to the Trump administration too, so there's
Yes.
just as much of a
Yes.
chance of a Google Pixel MAGA phone, and
Sure. And they gave it as Google.
yes,
Not Sundar,
yeah,
him,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Um, so so our favorite blogger guy, and I guess the surrounding community is like, see, that's worse. And then there's I'm we're not better than them. I'm not better than anybody. So I would classify myself as just like normal folk who buys Apple thing. That's
I don't know.
that's
I think I'm better than them because I didn't give any money to Donald Trump.
oh sure, but I mean better than the
But
commentators.
here's the thing: I
Better
did because I gave money to Apple, and I've given money
so
to
that's what that
Google,
means now,
and now I
right?
have accidentally given money to Donald Trump. That's
Right.
partially the shitty, selfish feeling. It's like you took money that I gave you that I trusted you with,
Yeah. Yeah.
evil giant billionaire corporation. I trusted you
Yeah.
to at least put it in the bank, or
Yeah.
pay your
Yeah.
employees, or
As
build solar panels or something.
as a consumer, to give it to a private company, you kind of trust like market rules more than you trust like taxes and government, because you kind of know that government's gonna fuck up whatever taxes you give them. That like
Sure.
that's what they do.
Yeah,
You know, like
you at least go. I get that some of this money is going to the
yeah,
military and it's whatever, right? Like,
right,
I can fight that and I can protest that, but like that's more
right.
or less understood. But I was
And
not
then
really under the impression that Apple was in the
yeah.
bribery and corruption game so much.
Or okay, so you kind of there were hints of this, like with China,
Yeah,
right?
I'm not
Like with
naive.
other governments
Yes,
that
true,
are not the biggest, most important one,
true.
right? So like you kind of know that they're willing to play the game, to
Yeah.
kowtow, to bend the knee, right? To get their product sold, and to not be disadvantaged to sell their products in those markets, like
Mm-hmm.
other companies might be. But then with this one, it was just this is like getting. Well, I'm gonna go back to just us now, but
Yeah,
just
just us.
with
Keep it
this
personal.
one. All right, so my thing is the first the commentators before I bring it back to me. I just want to say this one thing about our fellow bloggers and and podcast people
People who actually do this for
who
a living and not just for fun, like us.
yeah who are so righteous
Yeah,
about like I'm not gonna buy a Tesla.
yeah.
And Tesla owning podcast guy goes, I'm gonna sell my Tesla because the guy who runs the company is so gross
Mm-hmm.
now. I didn't know it at the time,
Sure.
but now he's gross. I'm never buying a Tesla. And now I kind of want to go, oh, what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna sell your Mac? What are you gonna do? You're gonna, you know, the righteousness. Um, so your partner saying "I fucking told you" is like that's this, my small version of that to them. But really, all of this goes back to me too. Because what am I gonna do? Buy a Pixel? Like that's I'm not right. So then you give the hypothetical of what if there's a MAGA edition, and it's like if that's when I decide that that enough is enough, then that means the line wasn't real anyway.
Mm.
Because what mattered to me is not that um, is not that they not do evil things. It's more that they not be too obvious about it, which then kind of just makes me feel gross, right? Because we knew about
What a
China. We knew that they removed the Taiwan emoji
what an
for China.
amazing bit of self-reflection. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, I guess. How depressing to do a thing that makes you proud. I'm really happy to make you proud. It means a lot. But jeez, like what now? So I'm not gonna drag everyone else down and say we're all the same. I'm not. But
Hmm.
just for myself, the tension between them is between like recognizing the thing about this is not that oh no, Apple has turned heel and your partner is right.
Mm.
That's not the thing that sucks about it. I guess what the feeling I have is that it's like oh the jig is up. It's like oh well
Now
this is not
you
surprising.
can't even actually like somewhat ignore the stuff because
Yeah.
it's like it really is like actually front and when I bring up the idea of like a MAGA iPhone, what I mean is like their their fealty to making any government happy so long as they can make as much money as they want just becomes increasingly obvious,
Mm.
right? It's no longer like a small little tactic.
Yeah.
It's like front and center branding, like
Yeah.
iPhone, like like Blood Diamond Edition, right? Like
Yeah.
that's and they all are. Every single one of these
Mm-hmm.
is evil,
Yeah.
right?
Watch it like follow me. This amazing blood diamond thing.
I
Right.
mean,
So yeah.
but they hide it. They hide the blood diamond in this very pretty glass container, and it
Yeah.
just says iPhone. It doesn't say iPhone Blood
Uh-huh.
Diamond Edition.
Nope. Nope.
But if Donald Trump has a meeting with Tim Apple, who he's just going to keep calling him that, and Tim is just going to be like, yeah, I guess my name's Tim Apple now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if he has a little meeting with him and he's like, you know what you should do? You should have a MAGA iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tim Apple goes, great idea, boss.
Yeah.
and then they just put, and it's nice, and it's in that red that they used to have for charities.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You know, did you watch Louis C.K.'s special after he went away?
What a great question. Because like that's because you're like, oh, this company did a bad thing. I should stop supporting them, right? Well, where's an example where that maybe did happen, right? Where you go like, this guy did a really shitty thing. I should stop supporting him. And I was extremely successful at that. It was massively easy to no longer pay attention to Louis C.K.
For you?
For me,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
massively
yeah.
easy.
Okay. So I have a confession, just
Sure.
between you and me. I mean, see, that's a joke, but it probably really is just you and me.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
so
I will
watched
say,
this.
it hasn't been easy for every problematic figure in history or every problematic company. But for Louis C.K., I actually found it tremendously easy to just wipe him off of my brain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was easier than expected for me, and then I heard about the special, but like my curiosity got to me. So I illegally downloaded the special, and I just to stick it to him, you know, because
Sure.
he did something terrible. Then I watched it,
Yeah.
and then in Louis C.K. classic C.K. fashion, he didn't deny any of the shitty things he did, and he turned the shitty things he did into a funny thing he would say, and then I laughed, and then I felt gross.
Right. Because now
Because
you're there with him.
I'm there with him.
Like, even though you didn't
he
give
said,
him money, he is back in your
Yeah.
brain. Yeah.
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 And the thing is, he's not. I'm talking about Louis C.K. specifically, and not like Cosby, you know, like not him,
Yeah.
but like Louis C.K. specifically, where he didn't deny anything. He did the things, said he did the things, said he'd go away, then came back, and then in the thing he came back, he came back to do. He owned everything he said, and made it uh, made it a part of the thing that he does.
Yeah.
And the really sad thing is that it's a laugh. A laugh is not a thing you think about, right? So I was watching it on my laptop during the pandemic, and you know I chuckled, and I finished the whole thing. It's fine. But I was aware that there was no more high horse about him, having watched it. But the feeling of, oh no, it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh no, like not oh no, I watched him. Like I already did that when I downloaded it, you know. But the, oh no, it's funny. This is what I'm dreading with the MAGA edition.
With the mega iPhone.
MAGA iPhone.
Where
because
you're like, ooh, it's a nice red though.
Yeah. I mean, the Ultra 2 came out a year ago, and I was like, eh. Then it comes out in black, and it's like, oh no. So, you know, and I'm not saying it's inevitable. I'm not saying I'm helpless. I think the great thing about You Chose Poorly is that we're both so aware that we're the ones who choose these things.
This is the therapy portion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say there have been other things that I've had much more trouble giving up, despite their problematic nature. There's plenty. There's plenty. Pro wrestling, I think, is a big one. Where I go like, ooh, I don't know ethically about any of this. Right? At any level of it.
At
I don't
any
know.
level.
Like, I can't really say that the little indie show with 15 wrestlers and a crowd of 12 is run any more ethically than, right? Like, you can't, you have no idea. You have no idea. And the whole thing is built on problematic stuff. So that's hard, and I haven't given up wrestling. That's hard.
Yeah.
I I am a little proud that I didn't watch any of the Vince McMahon WWE during any of his like run, like in over the last, since it became somewhat known how bad his actions were. I didn't watch any of the Vince McMahon WWE. But as soon as he was gone, it did give my brain a little bit of, well, you can watch WWE now. He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
The one person is gone. So
the
it's
one guy.
fine. It's okay that they merged with the UFC and that Dana White is now on the board of Meta.
Yeah.
It's fine. Vince McMahon specifically isn't in the room, so it's okay.
It's okay.
Right? That's my weakness. That's my, like, fuck. You know? And it's Netflix. They're on Netflix now. Netflix is the channel on television. Right?
So what am I going to do? Cancel Netflix?
What are you going to do? Not as Netflix?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, is Netflix problematic? And you're like, well, probably.
Probably.
Right? But I don't know anything for sure. So maybe it's fine for now until I find out later that it's not fine. Capitalism is a trap.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice segue to Instagram. With our buddy, speaking of turning heel.
This is when I wish we had like ad breaks.
Yeah, this would be where we talk about the Casper mattress.
Really great.
Can I just say, I have had a Casper mattress for 9 years, and it's been fantastic. And when like 10 years is up, like at the end of this year, probably, I'm going to be like, you know what? Let's re-up on the Casper.
10 years. That's something.
I mean, Casper, man. Good mattress. It's right there.
Offer code.
Offer code. There was a mattress factory here in Ontario. Just like ratified some union, did good, like a good thing happened at this factory, and they make Casper mattresses in this factory. And so I'm like, good. I can feel good about that one actually. Yeah. So that's something. Casper. Also Squarespace. Why not? While we're at it.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So, I think I'm too tired to articulate the joke about Canada, 51st state, something.
Heel turns everywhere.
Heel turns.
This is the episode. The episode title: Heel turns as far as the eye can see.
I'm very, very, very far away from Canadian politics.
Yeah.
But I remember when Justin Trudeau was babyface of the century.
Sure was. Babyface of the century.
I remember.
Everybody is like from 2015 to 2018. It's like hero mode. You know.
Hero mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what was it? What was the Seth Rollins moment? Was it the divorce? I don't know what it was, but something along the way, man.
I mean, the bloom came off. I think the bloom came off probably after his first election, like when he won again. That's when it became like, okay, now you need to start doing some of the things you actually said you were gonna do. And 9 years into, here's the thing, I got my Casper mattress the same time Justin Trudeau became prime minister. And one of those things is a fantastic product. Now, here's the thing. Justin Trudeau hasn't been a great prime minister. But have I voted for him in every federal election? Yes, I have. Because I didn't want a conservative guy in charge. Because I'd rather have a lame duck liberal prime minister than an evil conservative guy.
Yep.
Right? And Justin Trudeau has been a lame duck prime minister the whole time, and I've continuously voted for that because the alternative is worse. And I mean, America could have had a nice lame duck president, like they've had for the last 4 years. They've had a lame duck president.
Yes, they
that's
have.
better than the alternative, which
Yes,
is
it is.
worse.
Which is worse. It's well, so that's we we can move on, but that's kind of how I feel about
About
Apple
like
products.
Apple, where you're like, they're
Yeah.
the alternative is worse.
Hmm.
They're bad.
It's not that at this point it's not that much worse, but it's
Well,
worse.
okay. I want to quickly talk about Instagram, and then I do want to
Okay.
get back to
And no,
Apple v Google.
I had a segue for you
Oh, okay,
because I was just
okay,
gonna say,
yeah.
is that how you feel about Meta now?
Okay, so we had a whole episode recorded back in November. I want to say, was it November or December last year? Recorded a
It was
whole.
half. It was half recorded.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. We recorded a whole
Yeah.
episode. I
Uh-huh.
delivered what I thought was a 60-minute epic
Mhm.
about my feelings about Meta.
Yes, you did.
And
Mhm. I was there.
you were there, and you were like the audience of one for this show. And
That's right.
I thought I actually did a fantastic job, and I could not replicate it. And the recording didn't work out, so we didn't publish the show. But to summarize, to very, very quickly summarize, I was booted off of Instagram in the summertime. Around September, I was kicked off Instagram. I was suspended. My whole Meta account, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, the whole thing got suspended. I was in a group of people, a large group of people that were reported on that got suspended for seemingly no reasons, right? The head of Instagram came out and was like, we've been suspending too many people for like all that. What I didn't have back in November, December when we recorded that episode was the next flip of that story from them. Where they have changed that policy and a lot of other policies. And so here's the thing, like I tried to get back on Meta, and they were like, no, we know it's you, we suspended you, you're not allowed back on. And so I was just like, all right, fine, I guess I'm not allowed back on. Fine, whatever.
Right.
And then during the Christmas holidays, I was just like, you know what, let me just try one more time. Let me make a new account with my original email, like the one that got suspended originally. No tricks, no trying different names. I'm me, this is my email, this is a new account. And obviously something had changed. Because they were like, welcome. How you doing, new user that we've never heard of before? How's it going? Here's some ads. Here's some people to follow. Do you like Joe Rogan? We bet you do.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Right?
Ugh.
So I have an Instagram account now, and I have a Threads account, and I thanked you for sending that reply to Zuckerberg. Or was it the head of Threads or whatever? Doesn't
Mosseri.
matter. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, whoever
He
it
might
is.
be Zuckerberg.
They're all the same now.
He might be Zuckerberg in a little suit.
Yeah, who knows?
In that instance, our worlds collided because in and around that time, it was reported that Dana White of the UFC was joining the board of directors at Meta.
Yeah.
Which means TKO, the company that runs WWE, the company that runs UFC, is in bed with Meta, and all of them are in bed with Joe Rogan, the more or less manosphere, and Donald Trump. All of it is in one. All of it is in one thing. I'm not even being. This isn't really even a crazy wall. This is a pretty reasonable wall.
Yep. No conspiracies here.
Not really. And all of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, you, white, male-looking fella from North America, welcome back to Instagram. No problems. You're fine.
Welcome home,
Welcome
son.
home. And then I go, what have I done? What am I doing?
I've made a terrible mistake.
I've chose so poorly. And my partner in the other room is like, I love Instagram. It's great. I get a lot of pictures of cats and stuff. It's fine. I get a lot of recipes and I have a great time there. I don't know what you're talking about. None of this happens to me. I'm on an Android phone living a good life.
Right.
I feel cleansed.
I will say that for me, like we had that episode right in November, and we talked through it, and at the end of that non-recording, we came to a, or you explained that you've come to a place of acceptance, which allowed me to come to a place of acceptance because I feel like I have been on the internet with you around for the past, well, the whole, like 20 years now, you know?
Yeah. It's fun to hang out with your friends, you right?
Yeah. And with the internet being, we've discussed this multiple times, how sucky the internet is now. The internet was essentially meta. And for you to not be in it was weird. And then we talked and it came to a place of acceptance. And my September through December was like so many things happened, I feel, like in my life, that I usually just I like knowing that you know about, even if we don't talk about it.
Yeah,
like,
it's nice. That's the promise of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the nice part.
Yeah, and like the specifically things I want to do, just like I was taking note in my head. I want to talk to Sawyer about this. Like I was in Osaka a week after you just came home from Osaka.
Yeah.
And then I went to Hong Kong. Couple trips, went to the Apple Store, Apple Vision Pro, things like that. I did those things that I took note of, and it felt so weird when I realized in December, like, oh, I don't think Sawyer knows any of it. Like, I don't think, I mean, I don't know, but I don't think, that you were not part of the world where I shared it.
Yeah.
So on my end, so I was here the whole time. And then when you came back, it did feel like, oh yay, like my friend's back. Even if we were talking on Discord and iMessage and Blue Sky, to just have you back was like a nice feeling for my life, right? And then and then the world, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, oh no. Well, and then the next thought was, well, this will make for a good show.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a good show.
This is because we gotta enough happened in very quick succession that we're like, this is a theme. This is a Everyone's turning heel. Everyone's turning heel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
my board just fell.
Oh no.
Sorry about that.
You all right?
It's okay.
Your board turned heel.
Yeah. Everything's
turning heel.
Due to my board.
Everything's turning heel.
It is the theme, though. And,
it is.
And I guess in classic us fashion, this will be a while. I don't think do you know what to do about it? I don't think we're talking so that we can figure out what we can do about it. I think we're talking to just commiserate.
I will relate. Yeah, we're commiserating. We don't have answers, and we're not experts, and we're not therapists. Neither are you, Joe fucking Rogan. Shit. Thank you.
Fuck you, Joe. Fuck
seriously.
you, Joe Rogan.
Yeah. I don't.
That wasn't for you. That was for Joe.
Thank you. I don't plan on going down this like right-wing pipeline. I know that's not my path, even though I look like this.
You sure? Because the beard and.
I'm thinking about getting rid of the beard because, I don't want anyone being like, "Is that a JD Vance thing you're doing?" Is that
don't get the beard? Don't get the beard because of JD Vance.
Is that like JD Vance cosplay? Is that what that is?
That's hilarious, though.
And I'm like, I'm thinking
I
about.
didn't see it
I'm
until you said it.
I'm like, I, I'm gonna get my ears pierced and I'm gonna dye my hair and I'm gonna do a lot more makeup just so I never look anything like these people.
Hmm.
Yep, that's my plan.
I get it.
Yeah. I only want to go in the other direction. So there was a like the old story is the older you get, the more conservative you get, right? And I'm like, I'm 41 and I'm like so far to the left, way further than I was 10 years ago. Like everything that's happened in the last decade, that I've had this mattress and that Justin Trudeau has been prime minister, everything that has happened has just made me further left. Right? Like there was a moment on Blue Sky about a month ago where some transphobic bully type guy, like a troll, like a professional troll, showed up on Blue Sky, started doxing people, started attacking people, started like being a real shit. And everyone was like, hey, moderation team, you guys said this would be a better place than Twitter. Do something about this shithead who's obviously a bad guy. And they didn't. Heel turns all around. And so some of my friends, some of my trans friends, were like, fuck this place. Because that's how it works. That's how the Nazi bar works. If you let one of them in, it's a Nazi bar now. And Nazi bars aren't fun places to hang out for people who aren't Nazis.
Yeah.
Right? You have to not let them in.
Yeah.
Right? If you notice one, you have to kick them out and you have to make a big deal about kicking them out. You have to put a giant fucking sign out front that says Nazis aren't welcome here. Nazis fuck off. And we're about 8 months away from the MAGA iPhone. So heel turns all around. And so what happened was, a nice thing happened, actually, where I reached out to one of them who I was only kind of tangentially associated with. And I was like, hey, if you're leaving, can I just, like, get your Discord so that I can, follow you wherever you go next? Because I'm a fan. And they went, yeah, you're cool. Come into my Discord and hang out. And they have a channel, and it's full of nice people that I've met and chatted with, and it's lovely. And it felt really nice to be let into a place where people are hanging out, and it felt cool, and it felt welcoming. And that's the good part. That's the good part of all of this, right? It's a good part of you and me.
Yeah.
That's the good part. And that's why we struggle with this stuff, is because, like, what, do I have to put up with a right-wing apple in order to hang out with my friends? Now, it's not going to be as simple as that, because thousands of Apple employees will punch Tim Apple in the face before they let it become a fully right-wing company. Right?
Yeah, but sure.
People will fight back on this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you have to do. When John Moxley puts the world championship in a briefcase and says, everyone has to step up now, that's what that means. I'm a big bad guy, and now you have to defeat me. Always
because I cheat.
Because I cheat, and I'm a bad person, and I have bad opinions.
And
you don't
bad person.
And you don't want me to win.
Mm.
But I'm winning because all of you need to get stronger.
Yeah, see, if Tim Apple said something like that'd make me feel much better.
I didn't see
like,
John...
oh, he's doing a Moxley. Oh, it's Death Riders. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I didn't see John Moxley cutting a check to Donald Trump.
Yeah. But instead, it's like, he's not John Moxley. He's Tony Khan. Like, I'm the same. You know?
Welcome to the suck, right? It's like
Yeah.
this nice TV show I watch only exists because of
Yeah.
a billionaire's son who is
Yeah.
definitely in bed with all these other people.
Yep.
You know?
Hi, come watch me. I'm the alternative.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not.
Yeah.
So I. I'm. It's January.
It's January, man. It's cold. It's dark. We gotta be here for each other.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got.
That's all we got. That's all we got.
We got. I mean, I have an iPhone, but
I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Yeah, you do.
I do, and
Yeah.
I have a Samsung Galaxy S21.
Oh, you do.
Which I do.
Why?
Because this is my partner's old phone. She just got a new phone. It's 3 years old. She was like, time to upgrade. Got a new phone. You want my old phone? And I went, Instagram to the left of me. Blue sky to the right. Yeah. Give me your old phone. Apple just gave money to Donald Trump. Yeah. You know what? You picked a fantastic time to hand me an Android phone and be like, just play with this for a little while.
Yeah, because you heard about martial law and the president and of South Korea, right?
Yep.
So, perfect.
Perfect time for this.
They impeached the bad guys there. And also K-pop.
Fight back.
They're the good guys now.
Fight back.
They're the baby faces of the world.
Yeah, for the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For the moment.
Yeah.
Which, there's a thing I want to raise that I don't want to raise.
I have at least one Korean product on my face right now. I'm not going to say what, but at least one.
I believe you. Man. I'm a Filipino in the Philippines. None of that sorry, no offense to my Phil-Am brethren, Filipino American brethren, but like I'm a Filipino in the Philippines, Korea everywhere.
Yeah.
So, there's a question on a raise that I think we're gonna get back to. We always go back to, but remember when at the beginning of our friendship, one of the questions we both would, I think we enjoyed asking. One of the reasons we got along is, what if we're the heels?
Sure.
Right.
Every wrestling fan has to ask this. This is
has to.
This is Rich Thomas's entire thesis about wrestling fans, right?
Yeah. So
what if we're the baddies?
It is. Yeah. So, and for wrestling, I guess I've developed calluses to still be a fan and ask this question and allow both things to let the other exist. It makes me feel better about the other question or the other side. And to have it, I guess it did not occur to me that tech is much more intimately personal in my life than wrestling will ever be. I think just by nature of the thing. Like I'm wearing the thing.
You don't wear wrestling all that much. Yeah.
You don't wear wrestling. No, you don't. You choose when and when not to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's scheduled. So then there's this, and I don't know what that conversation will be like, just because of the nature of heelishness. Like, we're not just talking this general idea of bad people. Like when we're talking about right wing, left wing, it's a very specific kind of heel that we're talking about. We're not talking about people. We're not talking about like people who sin. Like no, that's all of us. That's everyone. Everyone fucks up and is wrong and about something all the time. But we're talking about like basic empathy and like values you learn in preschool and accept, and to have that kind of heelishness happen in the world around you, involving the things you care about and wear and put in your pockets every day, to then raise the question later of, wait, what if I'm the bad guy, is a bit much for me right now. But I have to say that we're gonna ask it. eventually. But right now, like as we speak, even right now, like no, I don't think I can stomach it because I want to talk to you about the next iPhone I want to buy
Yeah.
without thinking about because I really do. By the way, I was gonna send you a text because I'm very happy to find out that my battery health is 77%. I found out today,
Wow.
which gave me a lot of excitement until you raised the possibility of MAGA iPhone. So
That's
now it's like, uh-oh,
I,
I should.
and here's the thing. I do like bringing fresh ideas into the world. I'm a designer, right? Uh, and
Yeah.
this might be something I mock up. This might because I haven't seen like this story's been around for a month or so about Apple. I haven't seen any graphic designers mock up a MAGA iPhone. I might have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to bring that into the world. People are not going to like me for that one.
Well,
But who are you booing?
yeah. Who are you booing?
Who are you booing? I got a little heat on me on Blue Sky the other day because I suggested that the Young Bucks were probably Republicans.
Oh, I mean,
But like,
it might be.
I don't know, man. I think if you're a millionaire and you're on television and you are not obviously talking about your politics one way or the other,
Yeah. Yep.
I think you're a Republican. And like, that's not me saying, oh no, they need like something bad should happen to them because they're Republicans. That's not what I said at all. I was just like, I think they're probably Republican.
Yeah, they probably Republican.
I think a lot of people are Republicans. I think he won the election, so a lot of people voted for him, including a lot of rich people who probably made it an unfair election.
No, I don't have to get long-winded about it. I'm gonna get to what I'm about to say, which is that I'm really happy people booed Hogan. That was great.
Thank you for coming back to this, because
That was great.
Because
Wasn't that great?
Because we have to find the joy in things.
Yeah.
We have to find the small
like,
victories.
They cheered Undertaker,
They did.
right?
So it's
They
not
cheered
like
Triple H.
So it's not like a
You know?
full blanket boo on Republicans.
No. Right. Like it's not like we are liberals.
No.
Like, no. It's
No, that was
Right?
a wealthy fandom in California.
Yep. That's right. The wealthiest. That ticket was expensive, man.
Yes, these are
Like,
a lot of people in that crowd voted for Donald Trump.
yeah. A lot of them did. You know it, right?
No, they did.
And you hear the bell dong, and it's like everyone goes crazy. Not a boo in the house.
Yeah.
Right?
They played Kid
And that guy-
Rock in his. That was his Kid Rock
They
theme
played
song.
Kid Rock. Yeah.
Cheers.
That's right. American Badass.
They played. Yeah. Cheers.
I'm a cowboy.
Yeah.
Watch me kick.
You'll notice they didn't
That's
play the
him.
Limp Bizkit theme song because Limp
No.
Bizkit is a Democrat band.
Filthy Democrat. Right? No, they played Kid Rock.
Yeah.
And cheers all around.
Yeah.
No heat on Rhea Ripley. Just like, yeah, that's the cool thing to do. Raise
Yeah.
your fist.
That's right.
Then Hogan comes out, right? And no, fuck this.
Yeah.
fuck your Tim Apple $1 million donation. Fuck that. Like that's no. I am not okay with that. I'm okay with all sorts of other shit.
Yeah. Everything else seems to be fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. You can remove Taiwan's emoji.
Yeah, that's okay. Whatever.
from my phone.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You can
I'll
even-
buy the phone.
You can even put Hulk Hogan's beer ad on the mat in the ring.
On the mat. In the ring.
It's fine.
Right? You can spy on Siri can listen to my conversations. Fine.
Fine. Those privacy ads that now mean nothing.
Sure.
Whatever.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's
But
life.
Don't you fucking give $1 million to the that's no, I'm not okay with that.
I don't.
Boo Hulk Hogan.
I think the $1 million thing is hitting a chord with people, even though it's literally just $1 million, and it's literally the same amount of money that Google, Microsoft, and several other companies gave to Donald Trump. Right? Microsoft doesn't seem to be catching any heat for this.
No, that's okay. So that's the really funny thing about Apple, right?
Yeah. Because you're like, no, I
That's-
thought you were the
'cause
good
that's-
guys.
Yeah. That's the heel. That's the heel turn.
Yeah,
Everybody
Microsoft
else is
turned
like,
heel.
yeah,
Microsoft turned heel a long time ago. They can't surprise me with being shitty,
yeah,
right?
yeah. They're Big Show. Like, yeah, okay.
Microsoft is Big Show.
Oh, we like you. Oh, no, we don't. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. You're just around.
Oh my god. Oh
Right.
my god. I was
Yeah.
on a wrestling podcast, and
Oh.
it gave me a little bit of the itch to like do more wrestling podcasts.
Oh.
So
But you have one.
I know. I was like, if only I had a wrestling podcast. I could. I know. I was on a wrestling podcast with my friend, and they had me on to do an episode of Nitro from 1996, an early 1996 Nitro, where Hulk Hogan is still a good guy and he's fighting the Four Horsemen. And he's in a one-on-one match in the main event. And George Steinbrenner is in the front row because it's like his show. Like he rented WCW for the week.
Oh god. Okay.
And like he's in the show and he's loving every single thing that Hulk Hogan is doing. He's clearly a big fan of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is healing it the fuck up with his moveset, by the way. In like his Hulk Hogan's WCW good guy moveset is all just Iron Sheik back scratches and punches to the face and like cheating, just being a shitty guy. And Arn Anderson pins Hulk Hogan in this match.
And on a Nitro.
On Nitro.
Okay.
And it is, and I was so happy to be on this show because it was a really fun one. And I just wanted to push this message to people that in dark times you do have to find small victories. There are small victories, and your enemies will suffer even when they're in power because they can't be happy, right? It's impossible for them to actually be happy because they wouldn't be who they are if they could just be happy. So seeing Hulk Hogan get pinned in February of 1996 by Arn Anderson, a mid-card guy at best in WCW, right? That was the only time that Hulk Hogan had gotten pinned in WCW since he started working there. He had won and lost the world title through nefarious bullshit means, but this was his first pinfall loss in WCW.
I never even heard of it. Like this is news to me.
And he doesn't lose again for another year. Like his next
like Luger.
His next pinfall loss is to Lex Luger next summer.
Lex Luger.
Yeah.
That torture rack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like he submits and he gives up to Roddy Piper at one point. Who cares? But like, shoulders on the mat. 1, 2, 3 pinfall loss. February 96 and then like May 97. And that's what we're going in for. Like that's what the world is in for. Is in for a Hulk Hogan level of shittiness and heelishness for a while. And you do have to cherish the moments when Arn Anderson pins him in 1996 and George Steinbrenner is there in the front row not enjoying himself anymore. And you have to enjoy the moment on the debut Raw in 2025 on Netflix when a probably pretty Republican crowd sees Hulk Hogan and they just boo this man to death.
To death.
And
it was undeniable.
They embarrassed him. So
that was tasty. That was so great.
That's the nourishment we need. Yeah, for him.
That's it, huh?
Well,
yeah.
You get what you get.
You get what you get. God.
Yeah. So you gonna buy the iPhone Mega Pro or iPhone Mega Pro Max?
Well, so I think I'm gonna buy the China edition. That's the less heelish version.
The one with no Taiwan emoji. Yeah.
Or do I just change my battery? Do I just buy a new battery, Sawyer?
I think
that's what I said.
I think you get yourself a
Samsung
Galaxy S21.
Oh man.
You know what you can do with this thing that you can't do with iPhones? A lot, actually.
So I visited my friend who was confined at the hospital
Oh
over
no.
New Year's.
Mm.
Yeah, terrible, but she's fine. Um, and I go there, and then they're watching something on the TV. The husband and wife. The wife is on the hospital bed. She's the one confined, and the husband was sitting on the couch. I was like, "Hey," it pauses the thing. So I go, "Oh," and then I could see a cursor, what looked like a mouse cursor, and a dock. So it looked like an operating system, like a Windows operating system or something. Um, and I say, "Oh, you brought your laptop?" And he shows his phone. He goes, "No, Android, baby." Tells me he's just telling the Apple person, "Android, baby," because you can just. I mean, I'm gonna use Apple words here. You can AirPlay your Android device and like use it as a pointing device for what becomes a TV or desktop-looking operating system
You sure can.
from the phone.
You sure can.
This is a, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my ego would like to say I knew this the whole time,
Yeah.
but having seen it, I did
You're
see
like, damn, that's
quickly.
actually like a really nice feature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's undeniably like,
Pretty.
oh, that's
It's quite
that
useful.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a thing that makes sense. That's not a dumb thing that they do. Like, oh, no, that makes
I
sense.
figured that out myself. I have a nice little HDMI to USB-C cord that I've used with I bought it for my iPad, so that I could hook it up to a monitor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you plug a Samsung into it, you just get a full, like, desktop PC situation, and then the phone becomes a mouse pointer. And I said this to my partner, and she was like, "Yeah? Do iPhones not do that?" We've been having this conversation all week as I've been discovering new Android features that have been there for a decade. And
On your Galaxy 21,
yeah,
right?
and she's like,
S21.
"Uh-huh." And I'm like, when you plug the phone into a computer, it just shows you the file system. And then you can just drag and drop things as you like. And she's like, "Uh-huh."
Like, yes,
Yes.
that's what the phone does.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, did you know that you can just like install any app you want? You don't need to go through like the official store. Like sideloading's fine. You don't even have to do anything. It's just built in. She's like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is what we've been implying throughout this conversation, but I feel the need to do the dirty work of saying it like explicitly. But like iPhone MAGA edition is more distasteful than blatantly copying any iPhone to make a Galaxy thing and putting it in a white box and making it look like an app. Like,
Well,
MAGA
it
edition
would probably be a red hat. The phone would come in a red hat.
Yeah, that feels yuckier than owning a thing made by a company that just looks at Apple and copies it. That copied them once upon a time. I'm not saying they always do it,
Yeah.
but they've done it,
Yeah.
and it's gross.
It is.
But MAGA edition is a
Well,
real thing that could happen.
which phone company do you think will make a MAGA phone first?
Meta's gonna try to make a phone again, and it's gonna be them.
They're the Meta MAGA.
The Meta MAGA phone.
Yeah.
Their third phone
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. The Meta MAGA.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
They're gonna be first.
You might be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry.
So,
I'm sorry.
do I-
I'm so sorry that I birthed the MAGA iPhone in this episode. I'm kind of proud of it as a bit of agitation propaganda, but I'm sorry that I birthed this thought.
Well, so you're now, as my friend, also responsible for helping me here because
It's true. I'm responsible for this idea.
yes.
Yes.
So, like, given this is a 14 Pro, this is a China edition. I forgot that I was using the camera. Sorry, I was gonna
okay.
put it in front.
Yeah.
So, So wait, let me just put it back on my computer. This is a China, no Taiwan emoji. Is that true? Let me confirm. Hold
Mm,
on. Let me look for the Taiwan emoji. Anyway, so this is the 14 Pro. Um, and the battery is now 77%.
wow.
Do you advise that I replace the battery like I said I would after I bought this when I said I don't need a new phone
Yeah.
ever? I
Yeah.
should just replace the battery?
Yeah.
Or should I get a new phone before it becomes a MAGA edition iPhone?
That's what an interesting strategy. It could be like, can I get one of the remaining uh, left-wing iPhones
Yeah.
before you guys
Yeah.
before you guys make the full switch?
Yeah.
Again, this is our naivete. They may have always
Hmm.
been this bad. Um,
Yes.
my ba-
That's why this sucks.
my battery health for my iPhone 15, which is only 1 year newer than yours, is at
Hmm.
88%.
That's about the same.
And yeah, so it's diminishing at the same rate. You know what's funny?
Mm.
If you get a new battery, like you spend I don't know what it costs there to get a new battery, but it costs way less than getting a new phone.
Yeah.
You get a new battery, your phone will be faster. It will feel like you got an upgrade. It always does, and it always has. Because that's just the way that phones are engineered. Like their speed is somewhat based on their battery health. So I think that is a very inexpensive way to feel like you got an upgrade phone.
Yeah.
I also
No,
do
you're
think environmentally, it's probably the best thing you can do, is to use your electronics as long as you can.
I'm sad that you're saying it. Because I know you're right.
I'm also going to say one other thing that I learned while toying with, and I've only had it for a few days, this Samsung Galaxy. I'm in the honeymoon period of it, and there will be downsides that I find, right? Uh, the Something else I've noticed though is that on this 3-year-old Android phone, apps launch about as fast as they do on my iPhone Pro Max. It doesn't necessarily feel like a slower phone, even though it's 3 years old. Because I think we're
So,
actually in a weird period here where even if you were to go get yourself like an iPhone 12, it would probably feel fine. Like
yeah.
we've plateaued, right? And it's
Yeah.
not a new phone's fault for not being all that much faster. I think we've just plateaued right now.
Yeah. I
So
think I think you're right.
I don't think you getting a new phone will make you feel day to day any different than just putting a new battery in your current phone.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm glad you said it.
yeah,
Because I was saying it to myself, but I was also saying it's more fun to buy a new phone.
it is. But you know what you could
Yeah.
do to have that fun? Buy an
Mm.
old phone from a company you don't know anything about and tinker with it and play with it. Or buy one of those extremely fun little emulators.
Like like to try a new operating system
Yeah,
on that phone, on this phone?
well, yeah, or yeah, like just to have a toy, because you want a toy. You want something
Yeah,
fun and
that's
new to
what I
play
want.
with, and a new iPhone
Mhm.
is not going to give that to you.
No, it's not.
So, like, what I
It's
would
not.
recommend, like, buy an old Android phone, like off something, right? Get like, I'm guessing you can go get yourself a 3 or 4 year Android phone for like $50 somewhere, right? Or you can go to AliExpress or any of these and buy yourself a gaming emulator, like a device that emulates video games, and
Sorry, finish this. And
like play video games on that and enjoy and have
that's
fun. Yeah,
that's the fun.
yeah,
That's the fun.
yeah.
I was. What is the most morally, ethically righteous Android?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Like coming from here, logically, that's what I should buy.
Ethically and
Like,
environmentally, the thing to get is a several-year-old one that still has life in
hmm
it. Like this. I actually like this. like a company didn't need to make this for me to enjoy it. They made it for someone else who purchased it and used it for years, and now I'm going to use it and enjoy it. And that doesn't cost the earth anything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, use things for as long as you can. These gaming emulators, by the way, they're pretty much just old, cheap Android phones with buttons on them.
That's true.
That's all they are.
Yeah.
So, I think if you want a new gadget, do that. Yeah. One last thing. I did just want to, because we haven't talked about the fact that I spent like 6 months last year like making video game controllers.
No.
Yeah.
No, we were supposed to in November.
Yeah. So
Right?
I just came, speaking of emulation stuff, if you own an iPhone, and you know how to download ROMs and stuff like that, you can download the app Delta, which was Mac Stories' app of the year, I believe, and a lot of people's app of the year, actually. You can download Delta, and then you can go to deltastyles.com and download a thing that I have called Ambidex, which is a type of controller. Because this is, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to credit Steve Jobs for this. Steve Jobs gave me this idea.
He did.
In that iPhone keynote where he showed all the old smartphones with the keyboards. And he was like, if we just have a screen, we can put any UI we want on that. We're not stuck with buttons. Right? And that has been an inspirational idea for a lot of people. And it was an inspirational idea for me with these controllers where I went, you can put the buttons anywhere you want. You don't have to have the same arrangement that Nintendo came out with in 1989. You can put the A and B buttons somewhere else. You can have your own ideas. And if something inspires you, you can make it. And this project was important to me because it taught me how to do a little bit of coding that I was not comfortable with before. So I learned a little bit of JSON to do this. I got better at interface design in Figma. Like, these are skills I wanted to get better at. This was a good project for me to work on with this. So you can download these skins, as they call them. I don't like the word skins for this. I think it's gross. But you can download these skins.
You said this in November too.
I did.
That it is gross.
I don't like the word skins for this. I like to call them controllers. These are different controllers that you can install into Delta and play old video games with different controllers.
That's what they are.
Yeah. And so you can go to deltastyles.com, where they have a lot of different controllers, and a lot of them are super creative and very cool. And like, some of the N64 ones are so cool because you have to be creative about the N64.
Yes, that's right.
So it's a fun design challenge to come up with a way to play N64 games on a phone. I'm really proud of all the ones I made, I'm most proud of my N64 one.
No, the grappling one, the wrestling one.
Well, the wrestling one I'm really proud of. I think that's cool. But
is the best one. Sorry.
Thank you. The Ambidex N64, I think, is the best controller I've made. I feel like I cracked playing the N64 on a phone in a way that I don't think anybody else has. So I'm really proud of that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a better friend than I have been, and I will download this and try it out.
Thank you.
But it's just that I've only been playing the wrestling games on Delta.
But you've been using my wrestling controller.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, if I'm playing on my phone, yes, and then on everything else, I just bring a controller around. So I'm gonna. But there's a bit of a bug, I think, with controllers where it does not recognize diagonal movement on the D-pad, no matter what controller I use. So like, if I set the D-pad to be the directional rather than one of the analog sticks, because the Nintendo 64 only has one, and more modern controllers have two. I'm only stuck ever going X-axis, Y-axis in the wrestling ring, which is not ideal.
Interesting.
So in that case, the phone wrestling controller works better than a real controller. So
Nice.
ambidex.
Ambidex, yeah. No, I think they're great. I think the Ambidex works great with the wrestling stuff too, but the wrestling controller Grapple has the actual like instructions on the controller as to like what every button does, like an
Yes, it
old
does.
arcade cabinet would.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which
That's
is
right.
it was totally like that came out of an accident where I was just like, I need to like write down what these buttons do so that I remember because I haven't played these
Mm-hmm.
N64 wrestling games in forever. And I was like, wait a minute, arcades used to do that. They used to just put what the button did because they expect new players. And I was like, that's a good idea. I should just do that.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
helpful with that game because the controls are weird.
They're so weird.
Yeah.
They're so weird, and they don't have. It's a different logic than modern wrestling game controls would.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense
No.
actually the way they set it up. So,
In
but
no
once you
universe,
get into it, it's hard to undo it.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh, the C up button, that's run. Okay. What?
Yeah. 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 Why would you do that?
So that's been a very fun project. I think I'm done making those skins. I need to move on to other things, but I feel like Ambidex is like that's my crowning achievement with this project.
Your
Yeah.
Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Because you can.
I'm very excited for you, and I'm very proud of you having done these. Like when we talked about it last time, you were gaining some notoriety or some fame from this, right?
Hmm.
Like and but I feel like since then, like how you've developed from that initial like surge of excitement of making skins
Mm-hmm.
to being able to make this, that's pretty cool, man.
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm so happy.
Thank you. I feel like
So happy for you.
I feel like in 8 months I went from like proof of concept to no, this feels like a finished good product. You know, like the very first one I made works well, but it was literally like because the concept of it was like you can play. You're on your phone and you're on the
Hmm.
subway. You maybe only have one hand free, right? That was the premise. Was like you should be able to play Game Boy games with one hand. That's
Mm.
right. You should be able to do that. And I got so many nice comments from people being like, I am like, I. One guy was like, I only have one hand. Thank you so much for making this.
Wow.
Right?
That's cool.
I got messages from parents being like, I can now play games while holding a baby. This is amazing. Right? Like, that felt so nice. Um, it's just like, I've always been really passionate about like accessibility design and stuff like and just making things as clear and obvious and easy and making things easier for people. So like that, it felt really good to have this proof of concept. And now with this one, you can still play one-handed, but you can swap hands. You don't have to like change skins out to swap hands. So that like I was able to get left and right on one screen, and by doing that, it's now a regular controller as well. And
Right.
what gamers call a goofy controller, where you can actually play backwards if you want to, so that you can have the D-pad on the right and the buttons on the left. This is how like pro Tetris players play. You know?
Flipping over the controller.
Exactly. So, yeah. So it was nice. It was nice to do it, and it was nice to do like a left-handed design. As a left-handed person,
Oh.
it gave me a lot of pride to have like something that works equally well with left-handed, dexterity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did not know you were a lefty. So leftorium, Ned Flanders. I'm very happy for you. That
Left-handed,
sounds
left wing, all of it. Yeah.
all of it.
Leftorium
That's so
for sure.
great.
Yeah. There are
Yeah.
dozens of us.
Yeah. I'm happy to know some.
Mm.
Yeah. See, I have left-handed friends.
All right. Now I feel pandered to.
Okay, so
We covered a lot.
we covered a lot. There's a lot we haven't. There's a built-in segue here to the Switch 2.
Oh yeah.
But then there's also all the there's just like personal tech experiences from the past 3 months that I think is worth talking about. Um, but we've covered a lot today.
We've
So
covered we've covered a lot. We've covered
this
a lot.
should be this should be a new season. This shouldn't be a one-off. Like there's a lot to talk about.
We could unpack everything we talked about today for a while if
Yeah,
we wanted to.
for a while. 4 years at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
So, we can keep going if you want. I mean,
Well,
it sounds like you will continuously need new phone advice.
that's the show.
Yeah.
That's what our show is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, having a camera.
At some point,
I'm doing it now.
At some point, I want to talk about this little guy.
Yeah, the only time we talked about it is when you bought it.
Yeah.
Like we didn't really talk about it yet.
No, I got plenty of
Yeah,
things
and
to
it's
say about the
been-
Playdate.
Yeah, and it's been long enough already that
Yeah.
we can have some pretty solid conclusions about it, I think.
This might be where my next
as a
project is.
thing. Hmm.
Yeah, we'll find out.
See, that's a good thing for the Playdate. Like, it's not.
I haven't decided if my next project is an Android thing or a Playdate thing.
Well, as the other person on the show, the Playdate thing sounds like it's more fun.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean,
and you know what? I will credit John Gruber, one of the Apple
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
I think he said something. Every now and then he says something pretty shitty, and I
Mhm.
hate him. But
yes, that's true.
but he said something very, very nice about the Nintendo Switch 2
Yeah.
yesterday. And again, we got to take our victories where we can. We have to take our joy where we can. And when we're not doing that, we should be fighting and we should be struggling.
Yeah,
Right? But
that's the default.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if I can just say here, he says, just about everything currently on my plate and on my mind is some combination of tragic, ugly, hateful, worrisome, more worrisome, spiteful, corrupt, more corrupt, contentious, depressing, or at best, just plain no fun at all. And all of those have links to stories that I don't even want to look at because they're bummers.
Did you? I looked at all the URLs. Did you URL preview all of them? Like I didn't open them, but I had to go through each one, and it's like,
Yeah?
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
And I think this is an emblematic end to the last hour and a half. And then he says, but here's Nintendo, perhaps the most humane company in the history of computing. I don't see them sending Donald Trump $1 million. You know? And again, I'm sure there's problematic shit about Nintendo. But and one that has never allowed either success or failure to distract it from its core mission of creating wholesome, clever, well-designed, fun games with a much anticipated announcement of something new that is purely about adding more joy to people's lives. What a good paragraph. And that
Good internet paragraph at that.
yeah, and a good internet paragraph. And that is the energy I want to bring into this year. I do want to be a place of fight, but I also do want to be a place of joy.